right, great. So, welcome guys to the June 2nd meeting of the Green Committee. I appreciate you joining. This meeting's is being recorded for folks that want to watch it on Zoom. The things that we discuss and vote on might be part of the agenda, might not, but hopefully we will do the things right for the town. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole speech about the Zoom stuff and all that stuff, because if you're on, you're on at this point. If not, you missed out on Zoom. Okay. So I'm going to do a fairly quick, there was no minutes from the last meeting. We had some minutes for the meeting before that. I think we were okay with those. So, do we have any pending minutes that haven't been?
Yes, it's April 7th meeting minutes that were sent out after that meeting.
Okay.
Otherwise,
okay.
That's the only one.
Okay. Dave, were you on the April 7th one? Oh, just lost him. Just during that. Oh, you're on mute right now, Dave.
Yeah,
Kristen,
we had everyone there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, did you have a chance to review?
I did not. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to table that, Kim, for the next one. Okay. All right. So, guys, I'm going to give you. I had a meeting today with the school facilities director today to discuss a couple of different things that we got going on. So I thought I'd just give you an update of where things stand as far as the different projects, since the green projects were mostly for the schools this year, the ones that have a timeline or a deadline. So the first one I'll talk about is the HVAC system. So the HVAC system, it was voted by the school committee to proceed ahead, to kick in their portion of it. So all the equipment is there. It's physically on site. And now it's just a matter of waiting for school to end to start installing the system. Okay, so that we should be okay to have completed by, he says should be all done and integrated and all that stuff by August, beginning of August.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, their funding really doesn't kick in till July 1, correct? Or
Correct.
Part of it.
Correct.
Part of the funding.
Yes. But all the units, everything's on site, if I can say that way.
Yep.
Okay. As far as the 3 refrigeration, well, the 2 refrigerations and then the controls project, those haven't been started yet. And I got to push them again. I'm going to have a discussion with Dr. Gilson just to kind of nudge it along and just kind of, figure out because we need to get those done and done soon. They were approved. There's no town contribution. This was all done through incentives from Unitil and the Green Grant. So it should be a no-brainer for them to get these done. He does have a project, another refrigeration project that he wants to get on the docket. I told him, until the rest of everything's done, we can't even talk to him about that or anything on that front. Yeah. So,
well, Dave, has he got the estimates and everything already for it? Because he could move forward with that.
So I don't know if he has the estimates. I just don't know whether he's Aeon or whatever the company was that did it is going to be the contractor that actually does the work, or were they just somebody who put together the RFP for them?
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know.
I only asked that question because separate conversation with Kelly, I don't know, weeks ago. She the meetings that you guys had when the issue with the final funding came up. She didn't say anything in that meeting, but she had picked up on that refrigeration project and 1 or 2 others that were on the list that really should be vetted to see if they go in with the next round.
Understand. So based on the fact that there's no town dollar input, I'm going to be pushing for them to get these done.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. If it doesn't have any impact on capital plan.
Yep.
What's the you know, get it done, because you're gonna have to get it done sometime. Okay. He agrees with us that Turkey Hill is his next priority to do something. He knows the weatherization is key. You know, we're looking at single pane windows. We're looking at things that a building that hasn't been really touched well in 10 years. And so he knows that. The problem we've had is that because that one is, it's under National Grid for the gas, we have to, and it's a gas-fired system right now. We have to work with National Grid, and I have to track down, you know, even though Mr. O'Keefe from Unitil has been really good, the gentleman from National Grid and Chris with the school hasn't gotten together at all. So that's one of the goals, is to push that relationship. I was giving Chris a little bit of break so that he can get through graduation and get through all the other junk first. But now that it's the summer, I think, you know, the idea is to push him hard on starting to get these projects vetted and ready to go for the next year. The school is officially moving out of TC Passios. They're going to be fully, by the end of June, they're supposed to be fully in Turkey Hill for all the administration and everything else like that. So TC Passios, I guess the goal is just to shutter 2/3 of the building at this point and let Mother Nature take its course, which is unfortunate, but we'll see what happens there. Let's see. I talked to Mr. Ruth. He does not have any projects ready to go. We talked about a couple of different things, but I think he's kind of in a holding pattern based on what the building reuse was doing and now what happens next. I talked about wanting to do an audit on the public safety building. He agrees that it needs to be done, but I wasn't getting a lot of enthusiasm from him to pursue it heavily right now. I think his things are more of putting Band-Aids on things right now, because he doesn't feel like he's going to get the capital budget to do anything major. Let's see what else we got. I think I got almost everything there in my updates. Did I get everything?
Yeah, I think you did, Dave.
Okay.
The only thing that concerns me is I also had a conversation with Chris. I actually called him about something else, but inquired a little bit about the projects that were just approved on the capital plan that are funded starting July 1. Did you get the impression he's going to sit on those? Because there's HVAC upgrades in both Town Hall and Ritter, and there was something else for Ritter that tied in with the HVAC. And, you know, I discussed with him that, you know, HVAC upgrades along with weatherization, as we've learned, should be viable projects. Why are we going to sit on this if the money's already allocated?
So his belief when it comes to the mini splits is that he has somebody in his staff that can do them, install them, and it's cheaper for him to buy them and just have a staff member install it than it is to go through the whole prevailing wage thing.
Yeah.
So
okay.
he's gonna look to do the HVACs as individual units, you know, more like on an individual basis, not really a building control system.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for those two buildings. That way he can systematically phase it in based on what he knows any given day.
Correct. As well as if he does it with Wi-Fi connectivity, he now gets his controls without having to do a fancy building control system.
Right.
I don't know. That kind of thing. Okay. Oh, I did reach out. Probably our next meeting we should have 2 to 3 new possibility, folks. I'm still working. I still got to get on the town agenda. I got put off by the selectmen to get Tyler on the team. But I'm working on that. I got to now that we have now that the selectmen and the whole election and the whole town meeting is over with, I'm going to get on their agenda for that. And then I have 2 other candidates that I'm talking to about joining as well. One of them actually.
Guys, I'm gonna have to.
Okay. All right. One of the candidates actually works for, I'm trying to say Borrego Solar. So I thought that would be neat to maybe help. So actually, I'll tell you this now. So the solar system on the middle school, on Turkey Hill, nobody has any idea of who's really owning that right now.
Yeah, and
It's
what's happening with all the energy and
Yes. Every once in a while, somebody shows up, but we don't really have any monitoring capabilities right now. They're not sure who the contract's with, and it's kind of ridiculous. The middle school, high school, that team is really good. That one we're getting everything we can out of right now.
Are
But-
there bills that are getting paid to anyone for that system?
So
Would that
we
be
don't-
one way to trace it?
I think we're just getting credits on it, and that's the whole thing. I have to sit down. I have to sit down with Dr. Gilson and really go into this in detail more than anything else. So it's been a little tough to get their attention during this wonderful budget season
Yeah,
for
okay.
for some reason.
Dave, my
Well,
audio cut out also while I was away there for a second.
okay.
Did you talk anything about the adding the 2 alternates, replacing the associates with alternates? Because Tom Alonso made some comments at one of his meetings a week or 2 before he got
Yes.
off the board, and his information was not correct.
So yes, that's what when I went in front of the select board a couple of weeks ago to discuss the mini split project with the schools and give them the details from our side, I mentioned about converting them from associate to alternate. His opinion was it was the same thing. And so I got to follow up with Caesar to see whether we just changed if they were able to change the wording on that thing.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. I'll let you guys handle it, but they are 2 distinctly different things. And you've dealt with it on
Yes.
zoning board of appeals, so I'll let you
Yes.
guys handle it. And it's a little different for our committee because we are not created by charter. So the rules and regulations are not set in stone.
Understand. And that's the same thing. If the way the way they were saying it, they felt it was just a matter of semantics, then I'm going to push to change it for, why should it matter to them whether we change it to alternate versus associate? Right?
Yep, I
So-
agree.
So we'll have to get. So I owe Tyler, I'm gonna look probably not, I'm gonna look for next Tuesday to be bringing Tyler in front of the select board as going for that associate alternate member status. And I
Hey,
know
Dave.
he has some update on the styrofoam, but he wasn't able to make it tonight.
Yeah. Do you know if Matt got his form in? Is he re-upping?
He told me he was upping, but I haven't heard from him in a while.
Okay, well, the deadline was extended slightly for reappointments to contact the selectman's office, so he needs to be in contact with them. It isn't like you automatically get re-upped or reconsidered. You have to actually communicate with them that you do want to continue and you are part of the appointment here.
Okay.
What is
Okay.
what is the term on that? I'm just not sure where I would fall in there.
Yeah, Chris, I was trying to pull up. My phone's been very difficult here tonight. Yeah, I can't get on the town's website right now through my phone. I think you've got to definitely have at least a year left.
Okay.
Matt was the only one, at least online, that was showing that he expired this year. Got to double check too, because there's possibly our committee and I think it's finance committee. The terms aren't right. they spent all kinds of time trying to correct the terms a year or a year and a half ago, and they're still not right because you gotta, it's supposed to be like a 5-member committee. It's supposed to be 2, 2, and 1 expiring in order. And I think we've got a year that right now is showing 3 expiring.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
so now that Matt expires this June, Dave, Passios, June 2026, and then everyone else is June 2027. At least that's what the
So how many for 27?
30.
Yeah, see, that's where the problem is. A 5-member committee, there should be no more than 2 expiring in any given year.
Right. It's still
Mm.
written as if we were the 7-member committee that we originally started at.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
That could.
Boy. Okay.
It says it's the committee is composed of 5 regular members serving 3-year terms. Yeah, 2 members shall initially be appointed to a 3-year term, 2 a 2-year term, and then 1 a 1-year term. And then after the initial term, all regular members serve a 3-year term. But yeah, it should still be offset. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dave, you remember when they did the transition from task force to committee? By the way, our letterhead is somehow gotten back to task force on the agendas.
Oh, that bum. I'll have to talk to the guy who does the agendas.
Well, you know, cut and paste tends to do that.
Yes.
Excuse me. And I had told Annie and Heather that, you know, it was easy to get this committee straightened out. Just go back to that hearing date when they reorganized the committee, because we all got reappointed. So the terms were correct as of that appointment to the committee, but something's happened since then.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll take up. Yeah. That's another one. All right. Yeah. I did like the old days where you were basically reappointed just you know, till you gave up or died. Yeah. It was a lot easier.
Yeah, it was a lot easier, a lot less work. That's for sure.
Exactly. And it's not like it's not like we have a long list of people wanting to take the next position. They can't even do that for they can't do that, I think, for any committee in this town.
Right.
But that's okay. Yeah. All right. All right. In fact, we're gonna have an opening. If anybody wants to be on the zoning board, we're gonna have an opening on the zoning board, if you want. Okay. For that excitement. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. But I also, as I mentioned, I have a couple of other folks. I reached out to the folks. Thank you for the talent forms. I reached out to a couple of them. I have one gentleman who's might be interested, and then I have another gentleman who I ran into. As I said, he works for Borrego, so I think it was Borrego Solar, and so he was interested in joining the group as well, type of thing. So I thought that would be another beneficial, member, just to have one of the talents that we might not have right now in the group. Let's see. There is something going on tomorrow at Holy Cross. If anybody's sitting around with nothing to do, I'm going to try to join it. It is, let me just pull it up here. Bear with me a second here. Come on, why is internet so slow today? It is a National Grid Municipal Energy Summit going on at Holy Cross from 8:30 to 2:30. So I'm probably going to go for my free lunch, but we'll see what happens there. I'll let you know if it's anything important or if there's anything we hear about that might help us with grants or with writing grants and things like that. It looks like we have Karen and her team from MRPC for another year for the annual report, grant writing, and 2 years of annual report. 2 years of annual reports and 1 more grant writing round, things of that sort. And that's, I think, about everything that I had tonight. Anything that, any buzz that you guys are hearing? Hey,
I made a post on our Facebook page.
oh, you did?
People- yeah, it was just about, so I finally got around to posting about the savings in electricity costs for the streetlight project.
Yeah,
So I put in, using the data that you provided in the email, like, before and after, is saving about like 72% in the cost. So everyone liked it. No one, it didn't upset anybody by our savings in money. And I thought it was good timing for, just to show that we save the town so much money in a time of spending.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it is quite incredible. I mean, to me, it's incredible seeing the difference in the bills, knowing what they were 3 years ago from Unitil to what we're getting now. It's ridiculous how bad that was with Unitil. So I think based on what's going on now, it'll be at the 2.5-year mark will be our ROI for having to bought the streetlights, even with it going up $10,000 during negotiations.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Dave, does that number include the original purchase of infrastructure?
That's what I'm saying. It's only including
It's
the purchase
everything?
of, yeah, it's everything. Because, right, remember, the rest of it was paid for through the grant. So it was just really purchasing the infrastructure that we spent so much money.
Okay, yep, that's
All
right.
right.
Yep.
And that was the one that we started off at like 82 and it became 92 by the time, something like that by the
Right.
time we were done with.
Yep.
Only thing in my life where depreciation made things go up versus down.
I haven't had a chance to get deep enough into the numbers up here, although they are much smaller. They only have 30 streetlights that are being converted sometime in the next 30 days.
Oh,
But they do not purchase the infrastructure, so they still have to pay Eversource to maintain the lights. So I haven't figured out how that's going to be billed.
and by the way, that was the huge chunk of the payment. I'd
Right.
say probably 50% of it was the maintenance charge on the
Yep.
lights. That was the disgusting part of the
Yeah.
whole thing. But okay.
Yeah, and we got what, 2 light bulbs out of that over 4 years?
Yes.
It sounds about right.
It was amazing. I think if you guys have been in, well, it was as you could tell exactly the date we started to ask him about buying the lights. It's like you
Yep.
could see that nothing was done from that day forward. It was
Right.
incredible. That but anyway, what a good town steward they are, right? Okay. All right. So guys, that's kind of what I had tonight. I just wanted to get us together for a quickie, kind of give you an overview. We're in the usual thing. We got the grant, we're in a holding pattern, but the big thing right now is the push to make sure that the select starts forcing the boards in town, the committees in town to come to us when they have projects early on to talk about things. Like I say, that was the big conversation today with Chris as the facilities director at the schools, was telling him that there's money for him available and that he's got to use it, that he needs to go for it. I also emphasized to him the class that he can take, because he was sitting there with the book open trying to teach himself the building control systems. So he was excited to hear that there is a free class for himself to do that. He does also agree that having to cater to somebody to say that the Frazimarat is not working and it's going to be $5,000 doesn't work in this day and age. He needs to kind of understand the systems more and things like that. The big one's going to be the library. They're talking about a new building control system for the library. And we'll have to see what's going on with that. They do not want mini splits, and they felt aesthetically it wouldn't look good. And that's a little bit of an issue that we have right now with that. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires there. I don't feel that without going to mini splits, we'd have much chance of an ROI on any kind of building control project for them. Type of thing.
Do we have any quotes or projections for that project from anyone yet?
Chris told me, I can't remember the number, but it was stupid. It was like, I'm trying to say it was in that 20 to 25K number for building controls.
No, just the controls.
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay, so I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, if you strap a tool belt on, you're doing okay.
Yes, exactly. Prevailing wage, when I can make $60 an hour as a painter. I guess the painter doesn't make that, but somebody's making that money.
Right.
Yep. Okay. All right. I guess, so that's all I had tonight. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to, that you wanted to discuss at all, or any questions?
Dave, the only thing I always keep in the back of my mind is the annual report, and I never remember when it's due to be submitted. I don't think it's this time of year, but I just bring it up, every other meeting so that, and Karen usually takes care of that as long as we feed her the data.
Correct. So that won't be till October. We start gathering data, and then November it's due. So we have a little bit of time.
Okay, but there must be something else that tells them that we've completed all of our projects to allow us to apply in October then?
Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to apply, and yes, Karen and, I forgot her boss's name right now, but anyway, they have to do a walkthrough of the projects once we say that they're done.
Okay, so my understanding, and are we thinking we're not going to make it this with the original time frame? And that was that as long as the school was done with the mini splits by August, sometime in August, we'd be able to hit the October grant round.
It's going to be tight for the October grant round, more in that I don't know if we'll have a project lined up, with all the data to line up a project.
In other words, the Turkey Hill project. So we're up against the same thing we've been up against for the last 2 years in a row. That
correct.
We've got pieces on schedule, but we've got one piece that could hold up the whole thing.
Exactly. That probably will.
As long as we can put a signature on the dotted line on the day it's due, like we keep doing,
Exactly. And by the way, it is like, this is one of those things where you're running down the hall at 4:59 to submit, type of thing.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. And I would assume, I don't remember the $10,000 that's going towards cruisers. That was for the 2 cruisers on the previous capital plan, or the one that was approved in this May at town annual?
The previous capital plan.
Okay, so then we should have 1 or 2 again that they'll be purchasing in 2026.
Correct.
That are on the plan that
Yes.
just got approved.
Yes.
Okay. Grapevine, through the grapevine, unofficially, I heard those cruisers came in a bit cheaper. So there's some other savings besides the fact that we got grant money for those.
Excellent.
First thing I've ever heard in 5 years coming in under budget.
Understand. And I did talk to Bill at the for the DPW regarding
Yep.
a Ford Lightning or one of the newer electric trucks maybe, but he's not quite convinced that that's a way for him to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I stopped fighting that battle 3 years ago because
I know.
everybody wants the greatest, the best and the greatest and the biggest, and what's it do? 25 miles a week, or it sits and doesn't do anything except for 2 or 3 months of the year.
Right.
And we have people driving around town doing inspections in very expensive vehicles that could be hybrids and, you know, paid for with grant money. So it drives me nuts, but is what it is.
Understand. Yeah, exactly. Sir,
Until you become the mayor, Dave.
no. Appointed, never elected. That's my motto. You know?
Yeah.
I think you follow that too, Mr. Passios, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
don't like-
I actually, my years as an elected official were the toughest ones because it ties your hands. It's like putting handcuffs on you when you're very vocal and you've got a elected position. You can have all the appointed positions you want, but you're handcuffed by that elected position.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll stick with these appointeds more than anything
Yep.
else. Okay, excellent. So I'd be looking at next meeting, I think is going to be like July 7th, after the wonderful 4th of July. We could
Yep.
talk about the celebration. I'm going to try to do that one as a in-person with Zoom. So, you know, that we can maybe get together, see actual faces, see everybody's tan and all that stuff. Okay. And work that out. Perhaps we can, if I can get a speaker, we could just, you know, Dave, if you happen to want to come down for July, that's fine. If not, you might miss the video part of it. We're going to do a speaker and sit somewhere like in the back room somewhere and enjoy ourselves or something like that. So we'll have to figure out something here, type of thing.
Yep. Sounds good.
I had
Excellent.
a question about something on the last meeting. There was some problem, I guess, with the vendor, like locking in the cost of the project. Did that get all resolved?
It was amazing that when the vendor was wishy-washy about the cost of the project, oh, the system's going to change and all that stuff. When we said to them, look, this is all the money you got, he managed to figure out how to get a system that only costs that much. So it was amazing how that worked out.
Yeah, that's what I hate about municipal bidding.
Yep.
It's absolutely crazy. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it should be done the other way around. You get a firm signed bid with the commitment that you'll go with that vendor and then get the funding. That's the way, because like you say, you know, if the town had gone ahead and appropriated $500,000 for a project that's, you know, the numbers that we came up with, they would make it fit $499,999.
Yes.
Yeah.
And rave about how they came in under budget, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Right.
That's one thing. That's one thing up here that does not happen. There is no prevailing wage requirement except for federal projects.
Right, which makes so much more sense. It's killing the project. It's killing municipalities right now.
Yep.
Type of thing. So let's see. All right, guys. Anything else before I entertain a motion?
I don't have anything. Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn at 7:36.
Okay. Do I get a second?
Second,
Okay, we're gonna do ladies first. Kim.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Passio, since it's your motion,
Aye.
and Mr. Holden.
aye.
And an aye for me. So I appreciate, guys. I appreciate the time today joining. And you'll probably see a couple of emails from me over the next couple of weeks, just giving you updates on what's going on before the next meeting.
Very good. I'll keep my eyes open.
You got it. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a
a
great
good
one. Enjoy.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.